Good morning, Honorable Chairman. Good morning, members of this very important Select Committee on Monitoring and Implementation of Government Projects, staff of the National Assembly present here, my colleagues sitting within this room. I bring you the compliments of the board, management, staff, and local organizing committees of the OIC. We are very pleased to be here today in response to your invitation to brief this August committee on the ongoing construction of the five-star OIC hotel and other related projects. Firstly, Mr. Chairman, allow me to register our apologies for our inability to come on Tuesday to present you this report. This was due to a request 5 days earlier, which was received 5 days earlier from the executive to go and do the very same presentation at the Office of the President, which we did successfully. Honorable Chairman, please allow me to state for the records that we take the work of this committee very seriously. Therefore, before we proceed to present, I have a concern to express. As chairman of this very important committee, I am deeply concerned by your recent public utterances and social media comments prior to this meeting on the implementation of the OIC five-star hotel, which I consider to be prejudicial to your function as chairman of this important committee. I would therefore appeal that if you are unable to recuse yourself and continue to chair this session today, I wish to assure you of my fullest cooperation as long as you chair this session dispassionately. Thank you very much. Then I'll move on to your requests. As you rightly said, I think we earlier on in the year received a request from you to submit certain documents. And if you will recall, I don't have the copy of my secretary who was not around today, but you asked for the environmental audit report. This was submitted in this bound form. It came to this office among many documents that we submitted. So I had to bring this library copy to attest to the fact that this was sent to this office, this assembly.
So, sorry, CEO, let me quickly interject there.
Okay.
This was sent by way of email or?
No. Hard copies. I have all of them here. Hard copies were sent, and it was in bound copy like this, beautifully bound. This environmental impact studies, it was sent to this office. Okay. Among the package also.
Can you, do you guys remember the address it was sent to?
To the clerk.
Because we want to trace it.
No, the references will provide. Like I said, my secretary was not in at the time I was coming.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wanted to bring you the copy of the forwarding letter. But we brought in a package, and this was part of it. You also asked about the concept, which I assume you get all the information from the PPP agreement here. This was also sent in this kind of bound copy. This was also sent to this National Assembly. Then you also, to help you also with a concept, I also sent in this bound copy of the final presentation of how the hotel will look like. But I have extra copies of this, so I will leave this one behind. But this one was among the package that we also sent you. So, madam, if you can take this one, we want to submit this. This was one of them. Maybe if you check your archives, you will see that.
Now, CEO.
Yes.
We are very much concerned about this.
Right.
We want to know the date it was submitted.
I will.
And also the reference numbers.
I promise that even the letter.
I don't know where the lapses occur, but this was something we expressed even in our last 2 meetings.
Right.
So I don't know whether it was, but in most cases, when you institutions send letters here to the clerk.
I said, by Monday, I probably will not be in town, but my deputy will ensure that you get the forwarding letter, which will have it will quote your reference from the assembly, and it will also have our reference number and details. So all these were definitely submitted. So in terms of the progress, we will present you that. And since it is work in progress, and as you know, it's a PPP, we are still going through a number of legal and other things. We will present this assembly as we move on. But today, I'm sure if you listen to the progress, you'll be able to appreciate that we are really moving in the right direction.
Okay, to react to your statement,
right?
That I recuse myself as a chair. Right. To answer that question, I am not going to recuse myself as chair of this committee, based on what I wrote on my Facebook page 1 month ago. That was our visit. I said we are impressed with the VVIP, and I said we are impressed with the battle hardened. We are not impressed with the 2 lots, and also I said the hotel project is 0%, which I still hold on to. It's 0%, and this information was for Gambians. This information was for Gambians, so I don't see anything that is prejudice to my work. No. So to answer the question, I am not going to recuse myself as chair of this committee today, tomorrow, and in the future, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
If the social media is unfounded, or it's a story that is unfounded story, then I can consider. But as of now.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Fadek, can you do your presentation?
Can you come down? Yeah, can you come down?
Yes, Honorable. Like I said, we are, as you proposed, today is Friday. We have all the projects, updates on everything as at yesterday. But we will start with the hotel. Time permitting, we can proceed with the others. But we begin with the hotel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Center and this 5-star hotel will help to boost Gambia's desire to be a destination to coordinate the event planning and management. The OIC, in terms of structure, we have a board. We are governed by a board. The board is chaired by the President of the Republic himself, co-chaired by the Vice President, and then the rest of the board members are all cabinet ministers whose portfolios are relevant to the successful hosting of the OIC summit in the Gambia. Next to the board, we have the management. The management is led by a chief executive and assisted by, yes, Honorable.
Honorable members, the first time the OIC do the presentation, we already know the structure, the governance structure of the OIC Secretariat. Honorable members, do you still want to know this governance structure, or you go straight to the hotel presentation? Hotel presentation, please. Yeah.
Whose laptop is that?
It's your colleague, the clerk, but it's okay. And the operation and the management will also be a means of creating a source of livelihood for people in this country. A lot of young people, people in general, will benefit from the high level and high paying jobs that we expect to come out of this project. And then more importantly also, we strongly believe that the tripartite nature of the VVIP lounge, the International Conference Center, and this five-star hotel will help to boost Gambia's desire to be a destination for international conferences, exhibitions, and meetings. Because for so long, our tourism has been based on the sun, the sea, and the sun. So we want to make sure we diversify using this OIC as a vehicle into other aspects of tourism. So next, I want us to look at the partnership, the administrative nature of the hotel project itself. Unlike most OIC projects, which are being financed through grants and loans, the OIC five-star hotel is being financed through an innovative public-private partnership. And this partnership involves an investor, an international investor that is based in Senegal. And the agreement that has been signed include investing up to $100 million into the five-star hotel. The Gambia government is a partner, like I said, and our equity in this partnership is the 17 hectares that we are providing. And the name of the investing company is Imolan Shal.
Sorry, Mfali.
Yes. Yeah. Of the hotel project itself, unlike most OIC projects, which are being financed through grants and loans, the OIC five-star hotel is being financed through an innovative public-private partnership. And this partnership involves an investor, an international investor that is based in Senegal.
Or duty waivers should be part and parcel of Gambia government's commitment.
Yes.
When we told the Minister of Finance to give us the cost of this duty waiver for every individual project that the government of the Gambia is executing. Because at one point there are certain projects that doesn't need duty waiver, but they go through the legitimate process and achieve duty waiver and cost us a lot of money, or we lose a lot of money. So we told the Minister of Finance to give us the cost of duty waiver for every individual project that the government of the Gambia has approved. Thank you very much.
Okay, Honorable, can I comment on that?
Yeah.
Like you rightly said, this project should be a non-tax-paying project. It qualifies under that category. But again, as I said, according to the law, when we did the negotiations, the government's commitment is to provide them an SIC, that is the Special Incentive Certificate. Fortunately, Special Investment Incentive Certificate. I'm the chairman of GAIPA, and that falls right under my purview. But I'm still going through the process. I submitted an application yesterday on behalf of the project. It's going to be vetted by GAIPA. It will then go to the Ministry of Trade. Then we have a special committee which comprises the Director General of GRA, myself, the PS of Trade, and the CEO of GAIPA. We do consider all applications for SIC. So I'm not excluding this project from the process. And this is why our vehicles have come. They are packed, and they will never run until they have an SIC. Because finance cannot allow us a waiver if they don't have an SIC, even though it's a commitment by the Gambia government. But it's the process. It's wasting time. Mm-hmm. It's wasting time. So it qualifies under that. But in the meantime, what we do, we go through what is called direct delivery. That means like we are putting a guarantee that once the SIC is done, we will submit the SIC, and that will now legally absolve of any blame. So this is the problem with government. If you are dealing with government, it's like business interest and government. They are not the same. They are not compatible. Government goes at any lesser rate, whereas businesses want to move as fast as possible. But that's the nature of things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. In terms of the progress update, like I hinted earlier, as we speak, we have a construction team from the Turkish company that is doing the construction on the ground. They are supervising the works on site as we speak. In terms of the progress also, we've completed the demolition of the pre-existing concrete structures on site. The vegetation also has been cleared completely, but as you may be aware, we expected heavier than usual rainfall this year, and part of the vegetation is coming back up again. but definitely the first sound of clearing was done. I'm sure we will do another one. The landscaping work is also underway, which includes the removal of the topsoil. Mobilization of equipment is also being done. Setting up the campsite is also underway. There is also an on-site nursery, like we also said, as part of our environmental commitments. We are required to preserve certain tree species in the on-site to be incorporated into the finished architecture. So in terms of the workforce, we are expecting laborers from Turkey, Senegal, and Gambia. One of the milestones that we have also accomplished includes the environment safety impact assessment that was completed. Like my CEO said, we contracted a local consultancy company. They did their own assessment. The report was produced, and we shared it with the relevant government agencies. The building designs also are completed and submitted to physical planning and all other relevant government agencies for approval. The approval was meant to get the building permit from them so that we can start building. CEO has reported that we've acquired all the necessary approval that we need from government. So in terms of the mobilization of equipment, when we started, when the foundation stone was laid, in order to gain time, we resorted to hiring equipment from local companies. But then our experience has been that most of the equipment that we've used, they ended up breaking down several times. If my memory serves me right, several local companies were tried, but each time we keep on having these problems. So what we've resorted to doing is to mobilize equipment from outside the country. And as I speak to you, mobilization is completed both in Turkey and in Senegal. We're expecting the first arrival of equipment from Senegal tomorrow. They are on their way coming, and it includes excavators, it includes caterpillars, and all the heavy equipment that we need to get on with the preliminary works. Yes, Honorable Chair. Yes.
Mobilization of equipment is done and awaiting shipment from Turkey. This equipment that we are mobilizing in Turkey is what we are going to see in convoy of equipment coming from Senegal.
No, like I said, just now, there are two sets of mobilization happening at the same time. The idea is that when the foundation stone was laid, we wanted to get ahead with the preliminary works. And these preliminary works include the artworks, the removal of the topsoil, and all those preliminary works that we need to do. So we relied on Gambian capacity, but we ended up realizing that we could not, because the equipment would break down, frequently. So that is why the Senegal, the mobilization of equipment is being done on two fronts. One in Senegal, one in Turkey. So the one in Senegal is what we expect tomorrow, and then there will be another shipment from Turkey.
Honorable, we suffered a lot before the rains, or even during the rains.
Yes.
Because all OIC projects we have a principle, and I think you are aware of that we need to develop local capacity. And this is why all our road building projects and other projects, we insist that you must have a joint venture with a local company. And I think all the road projects, including the VVIP and so on, that's the way we structure them. But it's unfortunate. And I think I can quote a number of projects that suffer. For instance, labor is a problem. I remember when we wanted to develop the Gaipa business park at the airport, TAF used to go across the border to get labor, just labor, or across to Sierra Leone, Nigeria. So it's the same thing. We wanted to give Gambians a chance. Most of the people who supply the equipment, they come, they will be late, the equipment will break down, because we want part of this money to be retained in the economy. That's one thing. Another thing is you want to employ young locals, they will not. This is why we are bringing 387 Turkish engineers and workmen, plus 179 workers from Senegal. And I can imagine we may even end up going to Casamance and other places in the sub-region, Mali. because Gambians don't want to work. Gambian young people don't want to work. Sorry? No, no, they are. We are, honestly, we are doing everything. Look, you see, I'll give you an example. That tough project at the airport, we even said, it's only communities around Yundum, Busumbala, and whatever, should be employed. They will come, they work 1 day, 2 days, they collect their wages, they are gone. They will never come back. That's the truth.
But how much do they pay them?
I remember at that time, that was $400 per day for the tough project. Now it will be more, of course. Now the daily wage is higher. But this is just an example. So the project suffered, as you can see, the clearing process there. We even created, you see the quarry on Jabang? We even wanted machine, because when they evacuate, that's where we dump. According to any contractor now, Gambia government requires that when you excavate, you go and dump in these old quarries to reclaim them. So we started doing that. But every so often, their machines were breaking down. Yeah. So now, for the 2 months that before the machines arrived from Turkey, we insisted that these concessionaires should get good machines across the border. So a convoy is arriving tomorrow with heavy equipment to start work before the ship from Turkey arrives.
What time is this convoy arriving, so that we can all be a witness to the arrival of convoy of equipment? Tomorrow. They arrive tomorrow.
Yeah, no. In fact, by next week, if you visit the place, you will find work being done.
Okay.
I'm in touch with the GRA, and they are the ones who advise that they should arrive tomorrow, Saturday.
Okay.
Because you see, again, by land, yeah. Because again, what's happening is they are saying under the Gambian law, this will be considered as re-importation. So this is why, I'm soliciting the assistance of Commissioner Mbai, who is very helpful. He said, okay, I am traveling, but I'll be back on Friday. Let the convoy arrive Saturday so I can facilitate. Because we even brought some container offices for this project site, and they were held at Farafenni for 2 days. They will not be released. It was Commissioner Mbai who assisted to deliver this. So these are some of the realities on the ground.
Yeah. Okay. When you also mentioned 387 talks,
yes,
175 Senegalese expected to be skilled workers, either skilled or unskilled workers.
Mixed.
Yeah. So therefore, looking at these figures, this hotel project is not going to attract skilled workers of more than 500 skilled workers. Others probably be laborers.
You mean in the Gambia?
378 plus 179. If that comprises of skilled workers,
skilled and unskilled, skilled and unskilled.
They are unskilled and unskilled.
Yes.
Otherwise, I wanted to say then there is no room for Gambian skilled workers.
No, under the GAIPA Act. Under the GAIPA Act, there are conditions precedent that all companies investing here must meet. And that is, you must have a local workforce, and you must have a certain percentage of your workforce to be skilled workers. And there is also the condition that you should transfer knowledge and skills.
No, that particular section is section 50 of the GAIPA. I remember that act very well.
Okay.
I don't think that act specifies skill and unskill. So my fear is
the percentages may not be there, but
exactly,
it's a requirement.
But it's okay. Now, hence you said these 378 and 179 are both skilled and unskilled. Well, my fear is, as I said, if this is all skilled workers, then therefore there is no room for Gambian skilled workers for this project. No. So let's wait and see.
Well,
let's have this.
Honorable,
yes,
capacity is a problem here. We've even been trying under the OIC to encourage Gambian companies to come together, form joint ventures, so that all these contracts don't go to outsiders. But the reality on the ground is capacity is not there. Yeah. We are even struggling. If up to now, you see this roads project, up to now we are substituting skilled whatever. You don't find them. How many environmentalists do you have in the Gambia? I can count them on my finger. Apart from you studied environmental engineering. How many environmental engineers are here? You cannot have even more than 4 or 5. So these are the realities on the ground. And I think as a National Assembly, this is a lesson that you should learn and encourage government to invest in these productive sectors. If we really want to control our economy and make sure all the loans that you people are ratifying, part of them are spent here, we must train our Gambians to have engineers, and we must now begin to even put within our documents that certain joint ventures should be encouraged to help Gambians. But even if you give them, You must have visited, off the record, you must have visited some of the projects this week. You know, the Farah to Jambur. Go and look at that. It's an example of a local project. It's failed. So if you want quality,
yeah, we have planned for this local this thing.
Yeah, okay.
This local company. How will government enhance local companies? We have planned for this.
Good.
As you said, we were informed during our this 2-week tour.
Okay.
We'll have some recommendations for that.
Thank you
Yes, Mr. Fada, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and CEO, for that wonderful intervention. Honorable committee members, on the screen, pictures of the clearing that was done some time ago. As you can see, these are heaps of topsoil, and then this is the nursery. This is a picture of the nursery. These are some of the 3 species that we are trying to preserve, and they will be replanted back once we have the landscape done. So in terms of the logistical aspect of our progress update, I would like to report that we are in receipt of 5 vehicles earmarked for the project. 4 vehicles actually. There's supposed to be 5 in total, but only 4 have been successfully shipped. We are expecting the bigger boss, which is the coaster. So right now at the office, we have about 2 pickups, 1 minivan, and 1 SUV, which are earmarked for the project. This is a picture of the project, the vehicles parked at our offices at the Sadawara Karabajawara International Conference Center.
Okay, Mfali, before you go further.
Yes.
Okay, these vehicles are going to be used by the project.
Yes.
Or they are going to be used by the Gambia OIC Secretary as facilitator of this project.
No. Can I come in,
okay,
please? Honorable members, I guess you know what even IMOGAM is. It's a special purpose vehicle. He talked about Imolan Sal, Gambia government. So by law, that land cannot be given to private people. It must be given to government or government plus private. So when government and private came together, it is Imolan Sal and Gambia government. So a new company is registered, and that company is called IMOGAM, which is jointly owned by Gambia government and the concessionaire. So the lease is not in the name of Imolan, it's not in the name of Gambia OIC Secretariat or Ministry of Works or Finance. It's in the joint name of IMOGAM. So the contracts were signed based on that. Mr. Honorable Chairman, in our earlier submission, I even sent you the registration certificates of the company and everything. All those have been included in our earlier submission. So IMOGAM, these cars will be labeled IMOGAM. They are not for the Secretariat's use. They are for that joint company, that will be in charge of this project.
Yes.
And then it will include the engineers who will now be working, the workers, and so on and so forth. So I wish this would be for our Secretariat, because we need vehicles. And we want you to advocate for us.
Thank you, CEO. So as I indicated, this is the IMOGAM fleet. We are just keeping it for them until the required documentation is done, and then it will be given to the relevant office. So in terms of financial expenditure so far, this is a breakdown. The demolition of the concrete structures that I mentioned earlier, $1.8 million was expended there. In terms of the clearing and the scrubbing of the vegetation, 124,150 US dollars was spent on that. And in terms of the mobilization of the equipment, which is being done in Turkey and Senegal, amounted to in Turkey alone amounted to 4.3 million US dollars. So the mobility, the vehicles that I just displayed in the previous slide, cost about 114,300 euros. So I also want to point out that this is the expenditure that has been done and confirmed on the ground. The offshore expenditure, the offshore financials have not yet been reported.
And in terms of qualification, the conditions set by government to get an SIC, a company must have invested 250,000 US dollars. So that means obviously the IMOGAM project has far exceeded that. Therefore, the SIC is being processed. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. In terms of the challenges, I highlighted earlier on that the rains definitely hampered the the earthworks on site. As you all know, Gambia experience heavier than usual rainfall, and because of that, it affected the earthworks, and we had to wait until the rain simmered down to be able to continue. That also led to the breakdown that we experienced.
Going forward, this rain, I made it clear to even the minister himself. When we sign a contract with contractors, let's not give them this understanding that rainy season is not part of their contract. We went to Hakalang, the same problem, North Bank, Lot 1 and 2, the same problem, KWS, the same problem, OASIRO, the same problem. When we sign contract with contractors and it is 12 months, you sign it in January. June, July, August, rains are part and parcel of their contract. They cannot stop work. That's true. Do you understand? Because we cannot remove that 3 months from their contractual obligation. That we made it very clear, even to Senghor. It's part and parcel of their contract. They don't know what work they can do during rainy season, but they cannot fold their hands together and say, it is rainy season, and it's going to be part of your contract. Because at the end of the day, this contract, unfortunately or fortunately, did not attract price escalation. However, if it attracts price escalation, at the end of the day, we'll have to pay for it.
Right.
So let's tell the contractors, rainy season is part and parcel of their contractual obligations.
Absolutely.
Whatever they can do, they do. What they cannot do, they cannot do. But they cannot. You cannot give understand it's not part of your contract. They put their hands together.
Actually, you are very right. But I think what is meant here is that it's not like a stop work. And what happens is that it is this scale and scope, reduced. But there are things that you are able to do during the rains, but you cannot go full throttle. I think that's the problem. But you are right, Honorable. I think these are factors that we need to take into consideration.
And again, Chair, I think the CEO has rightly justified the delayance of progress at the site is due to mainly lack of documentation. You have said it here. So let's not use the rains as we were told on the site as a reason why there is no progress. Had it been we met you people on the ground, then we would have been more furnished with the situation on the ground. We wouldn't find ourselves in the situation where we found ourselves.
I'm really sorry about that, Honorable. When we received the letter, it gave us the latitude to spread ourselves, to divide ourselves. This was why we had a guest who was actually also very critical in terms of taking the passing round and discussions. So that's why we divided ourselves so that the people who are very, very critical to the project could go ahead. I informed the Turkish team that the National Assembly members are coming, but I will be with the Saudi visitor. This was why you didn't. If not, I would have clarified a lot of these things. And again, my apologies. When you also called, I was off sick. From May, I was not quite feeling well. And I spent part of September in Turkey on treatment. But my colleagues were here and then they were doing their best. So I just also want to really appeal to you. If you do not see my physical presence, it doesn't mean the office is not, because I am just an individual and we work as a team. So oftentimes some members of the team have to go on missions like myself. If I'm on mission, life goes on. The office was ably represented when I was away. So please give us that consideration. If you don't see me, it's not a slight on my part to you, but it's just that, I have to be somewhere at that particular time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So like I was saying, one of the challenges that we face is the rainfall pattern this year. It hampered work, as he rightly pointed out there. The bureaucratic bottleneck was also a challenge. Acquiring the right approval, the permits, etc., also affected the pace of the project. And that also filters down to the issue of the land as well. So because we cannot, up to this point, continue with the building if we do not have the necessary permits from the relevant government agencies. So we experience a bit of delay acquiring these permits and approvals and waivers. But thankfully, that seems to be behind us now. And inshallah, we've also gotten commitment, I would like to say, from the contractors and the investor that they will do whatever they can to fast track the implementation so that we can cover enough grounds to be able to achieve our desired goals. So with that, I come to the end of this presentation, and thank you very much for your kind attention. So if you have any questions, I am here, my CEO is here.